What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of Auto Daily Adventures. I am your host, Mr. Flippin' Genius, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over my 2014 Chevrolet Sonic LTZ that I purchased from a dealer auction for $2,300. We're going to be going over this car, fixing an issue that's wrong with it, and taking it on a test drive to see if we fix the issue. All right, guys. Again, if you like this content, want to see more, please consider subscribing and like this video. It really helps out the channel. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right, guys. So this is a 2014 Chevy Sonic. I think the back doors are locked. All the doors, except the driver, must be locked. Wow. But anyway, here's the vehicle. She's a pretty clean little old car. Main issue with it, honestly, on the exterior is you have a busted headlight here. And so we definitely will have to replace that. But she's a pretty clean little old car for the most part. She has leather in here, guys. And let's actually unlock the other doors so you guys can see the back seat. All leather seats here. Black leather. And so she's not a bad little old car, just really needs to be cleaned up. A good cleaning would do her very good. I'm going to take it to a guy I have who does a really good job at detailing, but a decently spacious trunk. And so what we're actually going to be doing in this video today, guys, is you're going to see me actually change the spark plugs and the coil on this car. Is pretty easy to do, actually. And so let me pop the hood and show you. Yeah, so it's right here. So again, you'll see me doing this on this vehicle today. Again, it's not very hard at all. And we're going to see what we can do on it. So, all right, guys, catch you on a sec. All right, guys, so the first step is going to be removing this small little cover that's held on just by a couple clips. Second step is there are two T30 Torx bolts right here on top that you have to remove. And it appears that the coil on this car has already been replaced. It looks pretty new. So we're going to take a look at the spark plugs and see how they look. But the coil may have already been replaced. And it appears that the, I guess you call this the harness, is held on by a zip tie. So we'll see what's going on with that. But we'll go ahead and take out this coil. You have to kind of jiggle it out a little bit, or use a little force because it's on all four spark plugs. So okay, got that side up. Now we need this side over here to release. There it is. Okay. So this is interesting. The spark plugs don't look bad either. All of them appear as if they may have been replaced at some point. So this is interesting. But again, we're still going to see what's going on here because we still have a code for a misfire, and the car indeed was misfiring. So we'll see what we have to do here. Maybe there's a harness or something, but we're going to take a look at these spark plugs and see how they look, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, so we got spark plug 1 out, and honestly, it doesn't look too bad. You know, the gap maybe it's a little different than from the new ones I have, but spark plug 1 really doesn't look too shabby. So we'll continue to take out the rest and see how the rest of them look. I believe we have a cylinder 3 misfire on this car. So again, we'll see. All right, guys, so we might have stumbled across the problem here. So the first spark plug that was in the vehicle was a auto light spark plug that was in cylinder 1. And the second spark plug that was in cylinder 2 was a Denso, which I believe Denso is the original OEM part. And this one was an auto light, okay? So when it comes to putting in spark plugs, usually you do not want to have mismatched plugs. And cylinder 1 was the one that was misfiring. And so that could be the reason. Also, these plugs do have a little bit of carbon buildup on them. So we're going to go ahead and get them all redone with the same brand of spark plug and see if that fixes our issue. All right, let's go. All right, guys, so we got all 4 spark plugs replaced. And again, this vehicle had a auto light spark plug in one of the cylinders, and the rest was a different spark plug. So as I mentioned, that is probably the reason why this car was misfiring. So whenever you're doing spark plugs on a vehicle, guys, you never want to use mismatched spark plugs. You definitely don't want to use an Autolite spark plug in a Chevy. Autolites typically go in Fords, and they're going to have a different firing pattern once the car is running. And so that is probably the reason for the misfire on this one. But again, we'll see. We're going to put in the new coil now, and we're going to button this thing back up and take her on a quick road test. So let's do it. All right, guys, so we got our new coil here. And again, the coil that came off of this one honestly didn't look bad. It's this one here, but we're going to go ahead and just replace it with a new coil just for good measure, because again, they had a different spark plug in one of the cylinders. So we're going to go ahead and put the new coil down in here. These go down pretty easy. They just go in all 4 holes or 4 cylinders, and then you're going to press them in just like so. Going to press them in good. Make sure they're on pretty tight. And then again, there is 2 Torx bolts that actually go in right here, and that is what holds the coil, which is 1 piece, down inside of it. So we're going to grab our Torx bit and put that back on. Alright, so I got my Torx bit now, and we're going to hold and press this thing in place, and we're going to tighten her down using the Torx bit. Alright. And when you're putting these in, you sort of want to tighten them kind of evenly as you're going down, because you don't want a whole bunch of pressure on one side and then not the other. So you kind of want to make sure, again, you try to keep the pressure pretty even. And when I'm tightening them down, I like to tighten it basically hand tight. That's what it's called. I believe it actually costs like 18 Newton meters, but I don't have my torque wrench, so we'll do hand tight, or to the hand, and she should be fine. Again, you want to make sure it's down. You want to just give it a turn or 2 for good measure. That'll be fine. Okay. Now we're going to plug the coil back up. And again, there's a clip that goes on here that is broken off. I guess someone broke it off. But we got her on now, guys. So let's crank her up. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and crank the car up. Again, we got everything back on and buttoned up. I'm going to put the old coil back over here. And we're going to crank it up. See how she runs. Oop. It's running pretty good. Idle is staying consistent. She's not running bad at all.
To listen to Dr. Radio, activate your subscription now.
Let's turn that down before we get a YouTube strike here. She's idling right just at about 900 RPMs. RPM hands are staying steady, and that's what you really want to see. So we'll let it run for a quick second. We'll give her a little gas here in a minute, but I want to let her run. Yep, she's not running back. We'll let her run. We'll get the AC going as well. She should idle up once the AC starts running. Yeah, not running back, guys. So let's take her for a quick spin. She sounds pretty good. Running pretty good. So again, let's take her on a quick spin around the corner, see how she drives, and that'll be a big factor in determining if we fix this thing or not. So I'll catch you guys in a sec. All right, guys, so we are on the road, going pretty soft on her, nothing too crazy right now. So we'll get up here and do a pull, see how she does. Yeah, she's riding okay. Check engine light is not flashing. It was a flashing light when I drove this car earlier in the week, but she seems to be riding good. Shifting well. This one also has the turbo, so it's a pretty fast little old car. She gets up to speed pretty good. So she's not feeling bad, guys. She's riding pretty decent. So I think we might have at least taken care of the misfire that she was having. Because again, when I drove this car the other day, it was just flashing check engine light, just flashing check engine light. So what we'll probably do as well is we'll drive her here a bit further here in a moment, and I'm gonna get some fuel system cleaner and throw in her and put a little gas in it as well. And what that fuel system cleaner will do is it'll help to clean out some of those carbon deposits that was, in the car from it misfiring. I will need to check and make sure though that I can put it in this car, just with it being a turbo. But that's what we'll do, guys. I actually see an oil change. I'm looking at oil change service record now when it had 109,000 miles on it. It's like 110 now. So, at least someone was somewhat taking care of this vehicle. Let's turn the air back on, guys. So she seems to be running good. It's pretty hot. Yep, so we're gonna research if you can put fuel system cleaner in these vehicles with it having a turbo. I believe you should be able to, but again, we're gonna double check. Don't wanna, tear up anything or do something we're not supposed to. But she is riding pretty good, guys. So we'll catch y'all here in a second with an update on what we decide to do. All right. All right, guys, so to recap today, what we took care of is we changed the spark plugs and the coil distribution block on his 2014 Chevy Sonic. What I'm now gonna do is actually clear the codes on this vehicle and drive it about 50 to 100 miles. So what I found is that by doing that, we were able to fix the issue. Issue with this car was whoever had it attempted to replace the spark plug and the coil, it appears, but they changed all but one spark plug, and that was the one that needed to be changed, and they use a different type spark plug in that cylinder. So what I went ahead and did is I bought a new coil and new spark plugs and went ahead and put it in this vehicle, even though the coil that seemed to be installed was fine. But again, the person who did this did not do it correctly, and I wanted to go ahead and just be on the safe side. So appears that we fixed it. Now I'm gonna clear the code on this thing, drive it about 50 to 100 miles, see if any codes come back up. After that, we're gonna make sure all the brakes are good and everything is straight on this one, and it'll be going on Turo. So guys, if you got enjoyment out of this content, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing to my channel. More videos will be coming about us getting this 2014 Sonic ready and putting it on the Turo platform. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Peace.